is Drew Regner.
And I'm Lucas Gallen.
And today we're going to teach you how to tie flies. This one is the Fish Skull Sculpin Bunny. So first we're going to open this kit. You'll get two different kits in your kit. You have the instruction booklet that tells you also how to tie the flies, and you have a bunch of different pieces. So you have some little rabbit strips. There's another rabbit strip. They give you plenty of hooks, so you can try it multiple times. And they give you these little sculpin heads to bring it down to the bottom of the water. They also give you realistic eyes. First thing you want to do is read over the instructions. So make sure to take some time, look over the instructions, see what they ask you to do. So I'm going to read over it quick. Okay, so to tie this fly, we're going to need one piece of bunny fur, one little lead head, probably steel head, and a hook. So this one's a little bit interesting. Most times when you tie a fly, you put the hook like this. We're going to be tying this upside down. So sculpins go through the water upside down like this, where the head is going to be facing this way. Okay, threading the bobbin. This is your bobbin. This is your bobbin threader. Put the bobbin, the thread on, put your bobbin threader through there. And if you have questions, ask at any time, because everybody watching will probably have the same question. So we put the thread through, we give it some slack, and we pull it through. And then your thread is ready. Okay, starting these take a little bit. You can put it in the holder. We just wrap it on, and then wrap your thread all the way back. And then you can take your scissors, snip that little tail off. Then your thread will stay there, won't come off. I always leave about like an inch, that way you can just use it. So it wants a tail. So this tail is about, they said 2 inches. So you can measure it, or you can just look and say there's about 1 inch, about 2 inches. And we'll cut it right there. Okay. Now, we tie this right in the middle, and we're going to tie this one upside down. You can just spin this way, rearrange it a little bit. Like that. We pull the hair apart, enough so it goes up front and then has a tail. And we just do 1 wrap. Make sure our hair is pulled nicely. 2 wrap, 3 wrap. Then we can turn it upside down again. Don't want to do that normally. And we're going to fold that part back on itself. Just do a couple of wraps like that, so it stays out of the way. This spring can be used, if you put the spring a little bit higher, you can capture the fur in that spring to keep it out of your way. So that's, if you're following along in instructions, we just got to this point. It says to glue bunch of stuff down. We're not going to use glue. We're just going to come up here, and we're going to tie our fur on, and we're going to come up to about 1/4 of an inch away from the eye. We're going to tie the tip of our leather onto there. So you just place it on. I wrap 1 loose. So the first wrap was really loose, just on, and then my second one is tighter, third one is tighter, fourth one's even tighter. Then you can pull this up, you go, wrap this all the way back to your tail. There. Now, here, these are made for hackles, which is a type of feather. You can also use them to grab onto your hair. And we use this to wrap our fur. And what you can do every time is push your hair forward so you're not getting your hair stuck. So wrap, push your hair forward, wrap, push your hair forward, wrap, push your hair forward so it stays fluffy. And now we're at the end. And we tie all of this part in. Grab it before it gets everywhere. See, this part is stuck in there. Maybe. Okay. So, to tie this part off, you can see right there, we're going to pull this down, and I'm going to do one wrap, and I'm sort of going to weave it in and around the hair. So there's one. We're going to do one more tighter. There's one. Second one, even tighter. Third one, even tighter. Then take your scissors. Don't cut your tail. Don't try to cut too much hair. Don't cut your thread. There's your wrapping foot. Okay, so that was this part. We wrap it all the way to the back. Now we want to wrap that forward, so that little tail part, we pull that off, and we bring that up and forward to there. But first we have to get that thread all the way through. So what we do is we sort of weave it through that hair.
So why's the fly gotta look the way it looks?
Okay, so a sculpin is a word for a minnow. So when this swims through the water, it's gonna sort of imitate a minnow. So this is your tail, and the rabbit fur with the little black tips will actually look like little fins of the minnow. So when this gets wet, this clumps down like this, and it will look like little fins, and then the body and the tail. So it sort of mimics a minnow. And with fly fishing, what you're trying to do is you're trying to mimic things in nature. So you're either trying to mimic bugs or crustaceans or minnows, and a sculpin is just a minnow that you're trying to replicate.
Okay, awesome.
So we take this little piece and we pull it to the front now that our thread is there. And I like grabbing all of this hair so we don't tie it under, and pulling it back. And this piece that we just tied on, so there's one loose, and then tight, tighter, tighter. And really just 4 strips. This one actually helps hide the hook. So it helps hide the J part of the hook, the point, and it gives that sort of dorsal fin. So while these ones will clump together and give you fins, this will sort of give you the dorsal fin of the minnow. So now we did that part. It says to glue it. We can glue it. You can use super glue, you can use tacky glue, whatever you really want to do. Clear nail polish works too, or any color nail polish depending on what you want. It just sort of helps tack it. So you can do a little bit of glue if you want, just a tiny bit, and smear it around. The other thing you can do, because some people say that it should just be hair, feathers, and thread. Instead of doing that, we have this nifty tool. It's called a half-hitch tool. And you find the one that's big enough to go over the head of the fly. So what you do is you take this and just wrap towards yourself and go up to the eye of the hook and pull it off. And that made an overhand knot. So if we do 2 of them, we make a half hitch.
So there's a way to do that with just your fingers, right?
Yeah, and you can just grab it like this, put it over. So I did that pretty fast. That way it gets a lot of the hair, so it's sort of hard. So that one, I put 2 fingers, and same thing, just made a loop. And you can go like that, and you can pull it up. There's actually a whip finisher too. This one is what you use to tie a knot to finish it, but this is one that it just ties a quick, easy knot. So a lot of people, they'll tie one part and then they'll tie a couple half hitches. That way if your thread ever breaks, your entire fly doesn't fall apart. It just falls to the next part that broke. Okay, now that we have a lot of thread out, we'll pull some more thread out. So now what it wants us to do is glue it, then it wants us to put that sculpin head on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some thread here to give a little bit of a base for that sculpin head to go on. So I'm just tying it up and sort of making it nice. Like that. Then we take the sculpin head and we can just tie it on. So push the sculpin head over, and that thread's right on the bottom. I'm just going to pull that thread right up the bottom of the sculpin, thank you, like that, and just put it over. So I just pulled it forward and then hooked it up over the eye. And then we tie a head onto the eye. And just a couple loops, that'll keep it right in place. This is when you use your whip finisher. So you put this over your thread, hook it, and then hook right there, and you make a triangle. So hook, I haven't tied flies in years, like that. Okay, spin over, spin over, spin over, spin over, spin over, 4 or 5 times, and then you can just pop your thing out like that and pull it up. Never know. And I actually just broke it right on it, which is fine. Can trim that off a little bit. Then if you have clear nail polish, you can put clear nail polish. Tacky glue works too. And this little guy is called a bodkin. It's just a needle. You can use that to smear your, keep your rabbit fur out of there. And use that to smear your glue all the way around. Also go through the eye of your hook. Like that. Now last step, put on your little eyes. So these are sticky, but the stickiness wears off every once in a while. I like using the tweezers for them, or throwing them everywhere. So get the tweezers, just place them right in there, right in there. Take that back, they are not sticky, so you want to use glue. They're not sticky enough. Okay, eyes are on. We unhook it, and pull our tail out of the spring. There's our little sculpin. So you can tie that on anywhere that there's minnows. You tie that on and jig it up and down. So cast it out and then just pull it up, and this will go up a little bit and then sink down. Look like a little minnow swimming in the lake or river.
So what type of fish would you be fishing for with this thing?
Up here in Alaska, you could fish for any of the lake fish, so grayling, Arctic char, trout, landlocked salmon. In the rivers, if you're doing this in the rivers, probably rainbow trout. Char would probably bite it also. Well, thank you for learning how to tie a fly with me today. Hope everyone out there has fun tying flies. If you haven't yet, check out the unboxing video, probably right there. And look at the unboxing of your fly tying kit. And thank you for making stuff with me today.